What's up, Middle Georgia Dog Pound? Welcome to another edition of the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live. I'm your host, Brian. Matt, where's Kevin?
I don't know.
Kevin is not here tonight, but we've got a special guest going to fill in for him here in just a minute. We'll bring him on the line. But first and foremost, guys, hey, if this is your first time on the show, hit us up at middlegeorgiadogpound@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Definitely want to hear your comments. Comment in the comment section if you're on YouTube or on Facebook. Definitely love to hear your comments. We'll definitely we'll put them on the show. Definitely want to hear from you tonight. But hey, man, we have got to get into this thing and talk about Colby Young. But before we do that, we have some breaking news I just want to share with everyone. Breaking news straight here on the Middle Georgia Dog Pound. Harry Dog has been arrested. He is peeing on the fire hydrant, drinking from the fountain, and playing tug of war with the chapel bell rope, and is being arrested. Apparently, he had to jump in and be part of the recent arrest, and so now they're changing our mascot to the jailbird. So just wanted to let everybody know that. But Matt, what is going on in Athens, man? What is the deal, dude?
Let me go ahead and, because Kevin's not here, I'm going to do the traditional, salute for Kevin in tribute to him. But man, I just don't know what's going on, and I think, some of it's a cultural thing. In general, I think we as a body of people just believe that we're untouchable and that things just won't happen to us, and we don't think about the consequences of our actions that happen. We don't think anything after midnight is a good idea. We think that we won't get caught speeding. Nothing bad will happen to us. We're invincible. We're immortal, and I think that's kind of what this stuff is happening. These guys aren't thinking for the future. You would think with the kind of counseling that's provided to these guys, the kind of, not only emotional and spiritual counseling these guys are given through the stewardship of the program, but hey, this is how you manage your money. This is how you need to manage your life. They still think that they are above whatever it may be in their life, that I getting this car won't get me in trouble, or dating this girl won't get me in trouble. And it does. You got to think about your longevity of your life. And I don't think these guys they're not thinking about that. Now, once again, sometimes it's just bad circumstances. Sometimes things we see a few times where guys have just made simple, young kid mistakes. And it's more amplified when you're in the spotlight when it is in Georgia. If you were in Vanderbilt or Kentucky, no one would even care. But you're there, and Athens PD is all about showing you out.
Yep, they're going to make an example of you, that is for sure. Yeah, so we were reading over the police report, and I'll read it out in case anybody hadn't heard it. But the police report, says that Athens Clarke County Police were dispatched to the residence just before 1 a.m. A 20-year-old woman had gone to Young's apartment to discuss the status of their relationship, and the pair began talking for about 20 minutes. Then the report says that the conversation became heated after she found out that Young had been on the phone with another woman. The argument escalated. The female alleges that Young grabbed her near the left bicep and tricep and physically pulled her out of the room. At that point, he went to his room and locked the door. Says the woman began to gather her things, and she called her friend, and that's when Young came out of his room, picked her up, began to squeeze her torso and abdomen very hard, and at the point that she believed he was trying to harm her. She also said that she expressed some concerns about mental abuse in the past that has now escalated to the alleged physical abuse. It says the woman also told the officer she was scared of him, and because of this, arresting officer requested that Young not be released on bond. It says that they examined the woman, and she was bruised and some discoloration of the right side of her chest, and she had some redness on her right flank. There were no injuries noted on the arm that she claimed that had been grabbed. And then she was transported to hospital for further treatment. So, yeah, you're right, man. I mean, first thing is he should never have let anybody come over to his residence after midnight. That's the very first thing. And, you know, at that point when things became apparent that it was going to be heated, just leave. Just leave.
Yeah.
Leave. Get out of the situation. And if you're going to have a conversation with somebody like that, do it in a public place.
Yes, have witnesses all the time.
Yep.
I mean,
absolutely.
These guys need to start. You guys can't say this is a, Kirby coaching issue. I mean, he's got freaking 115 guys.
Yeah,
he's
145 guys or something like that.
Some people out there, you guys can't maintain your one or two children you have. He's trying to maintain all these kids in a away from home with access to money and all kinds of other stuff that going out there. I mean, it's not even realistic to say that it's a cultural, it's a thing where that's the climate of the program. That's not even fair and it's not right. But these guys got to put themselves in a situation. They did it to themselves. To be honest with you, I mean, I would be if I was Kirby, I would pull the whole. We're gonna do the Billy Graham method, and nobody can be alone with a female unless you have accompanies with somebody with you, because that's what he did. He went in the elevator by himself with somebody to protect himself from this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is that time, man. We got to hear from the professor, and we got him sitting backstage, Mr. Akaki. Good to have you, my friend. I would love to hear what. I'd love to hear what you. I'd love to hear what you have to say on this subject.
Well, I'll tell you. Last night I was going to write a diatribe of venting, and I started writing it, and I said to myself, "No," I said, "I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to condemn. I'm not going to crucify. I'm not going to do things that really I don't know all the facts, but I do know we have a complex situation." And I'm going to tell you something about in comparative to other universities. We have a university that's an expanse of campus. And I don't know if you realize, Athens, how much housing is out there and how far these people go to these apartments. And the players don't live in dormitories. Maybe freshman year, but most of them are cohabitating with other teammates. And there's some long drives and long distances. And they got souped up cars. There's no justification for driving erratically or recklessly or speeding or racing. That's a maturity issue. But we have a big time, wide open university campus. Alabama, I lived there for 4 years. They're more compressed. You don't get to go on a beltway. You don't get to drive down 6-lane, 4-lane roads like you do in Athens. It's not as big as a campus. And the same with a lot of other campuses. That's one element that makes it easier to screw up because there's more freedom on the roads. You think you're out there in a wide open country, and it's not that way. But I just left the courthouse. We're on a murder trial tonight, where our jury went home, and it's about a drive-by type of road rage incident. And there's a lot of crazy people driving on the roads. And these guys have got to learn that their futures are totally in jeopardy, as well as the university's acclaim and their reputation. Kirby's probably doing everything he can to corral these guys, counseling and all that. But these kids are making too much money too fast, inflated egos, big-time cars, and they have an issue with trying to control themselves, self-control. And it's all over America. Now, it doesn't help that we have some liberal DAs, and Athens is one of the towns, like Atlanta and some of the other towns where there's liberal DAs. And I'm not saying that's contributing to this, but we don't have maybe the most suitable place to try a case and all that. They're strung out. Adam Anderson, I don't even know if he got his day in court yet. You know, Rah-Rah's gone. This guy's probably going to be gone more than likely. If there's a baby in her belly and he had that baby, that's going to be a big-time flag. He'll be gone. But we're running out of receivers, and if you want to talk football, Arian Smith was shelved, if you notice. He's going to have to come back and be one of the guys here pretty shortly, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We got that to deal with. The other aspects of controlling these kids, I don't know how you're going to do it. I really don't. That's my feedback on it. You can do it. She's got to do the blender here. Bella Morella on Mulberry. Put a plug for her. She's making some exotic drink for probably one of the customers, but she's done. But I don't know how deep I can go into this. I respect Kirby. I know he's got his hands full. It's an embarrassment. And I'm sure they're going to continue to try to get these kids. And then we have, and this is something, my son married in a mixed marriage. She's black, he's white. So this is not racist comments where I'm coming from right now. But it seems to be our black cultural athletes that are coming into these issues more than anything. It's an issue in America because they're coming out of mostly fatherless societies. They have a whole different culture. They don't want to look white. There's a whole, it's not like we're not normalized. We're totally separate cultures, and they do different things. They live life differently, and they have not had the success, and they experience it at the university, especially with the NIL, and they're going crazy. They got money for the first time in their lives. They don't come out of a family like most of your Caucasian players come out of. It's an unfortunate thing, and I feel empathy and compassion for them, quite frankly, because they're experiencing success for the first time. They don't know how to handle it.
Nope.
And I wish them well, and we're just going to have to stay behind the dogs and not dump on them. I mean, we're going to have to really be supportive.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't allow the 1% to affect the whole. That's my opinion. I mean, you can say culture, but we have how many hundreds of other guys who are doing the right thing, and some of them come from the same backgrounds. I think it's back to what you're saying. I think it's more of a personality, maturity thing that some guys just have not the ability to grow up and project for the future and see their future ahead of them, but yet they live in the now. And I think that's something that sometimes guys got to learn the hard way. And when they learn the hard way, sometimes it affects them the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Matt, I wish it was 1% like you think it is, or might state it is. You're not minimizing it. I know you well enough. Your heart and soul is in the dogs. But we've had 20 incidents since Adam Anderson, and that's driving offenses and so forth. Yeah. There's more than that haven't gotten caught. So it is a big issue up there that's got to be addressed.
Yeah, I agree. You're right.
Yep, totally agree. Well, we could talk about this all night, guys. I do appreciate you getting into it, and I don't know that we're going to ever come to
come back to me on Mississippi State, because I got some things to tell you about the state of Mississippi and junior colleges and why they have huge defensive lines. We'll come back to that in the show.
All right, sounds good. Well, hey, given that, let's go ahead and jump in. Let's talk about the win against Auburn this past weekend. Let's run those game highlights.
We got 15 before we hand it out. Come on in the back. Light up in the back. Ain't no escape.
Good morning and welcome to a Georgia Football Saturday. The Deep South's oldest rivalry reconvenes for the 129th time today.
Man, it feels good to be home. Yep.
Cut it loose. Play fast. Play fast. Jonah, let them know. Ain't nothing like Saturday in that. You know, you start good, you attack. That's who we are. We do it for each other, too. You go out of that field, you say, I'm going to cut it loose because I earned it. Now, women, I want to see you guys go dominate these guys for 4 quarters. And it starts right now.
Look at my eyes, tell me your tale, do you see the road? I'm out to my soul, tell me the size. Whenever the smoke clear out of my face and my picture perfect, do I look fly? All of that green and yellow that drip in your eyes is telling your demise. I'm to my side, the push back is selling the brother, pull the sides to the side. I'll be great and nice and right by my side. All I see is a sea of people that round me. If they just move, what's got it with me? Jump on the stage and say I'm a child. The things we created became the most rated. I gotta find balance and give me a smile. Yeah. That vibe is still me around. Take a visit of the flame. You saying I'm running from miles. She shows a lot. The guys that go up and call the bus and take it right away to the end zone. It's cool. I gave them the clothes and get up and down. They said they're the ones when they make the ears. Can't look in the mirror. Got that vibe. Stand on the stage. I give them the rage. I'm turning it down. Continue to keep it going. Blocked by the law. Bouncing up the 30 and the 20. I'm coming to tweet. The shit is red. They ain't been anything up at 8. I didn't wrap it around and take me a boot and I turned to a piece about the crib on it. I made it out of the reach, brought a couple more witnesses. I needed more sleep, brought a couple more watches. I needed more time. The empire kind of really smarter than shit. If I gave you a day in my life or a day in my eyes, don't blink.
Great win between the hedges. Matt, I know I was texting you, man. I'm like, this is just not going the way I wanted it to go, and we pulled out the win. And sometimes wins, right? And I think for me with this team, I still don't know who we are offensively. I just don't know who we are offensively, and I'm not sure that we're going to get there anytime soon. But what was your takeaways?
I mean, you could. I know it doesn't seem. I think we're so spoiled as Dog fans.
I was just going to say the same thing. Thanks for.
I mean, we beat them for almost beat them by 20 points, and we're like, oh my gosh. But we wore a team down.
Yeah.
And once again, this goes back to the thing. You're right. It is. It's Auburn. They're not great, but that is a reason why that's a continued rivalry for us.
Yep.
These teams play tough against each other every year, no matter what it is. I'm telling you, and people can say I'm wrong. I'm just trying to sugarcoat it. We are playing a lot of good, hard-nosed football at the beginning of this year for a reason. It doesn't seem fair, but I'm telling you, playing Kentucky like we did, having to go to play Alabama like we did, having to play Auburn. I mean, no one has scored more than what they said, 26 points on Auburn all year long.
Mm-hmm.
And then we scored 31, should have scored more. But all of a sudden we have a 40-yard penalty, and it takes us from the 10-yard line all the way back to the 50-yard line.
Yep.
So, I mean, we could have scored again and made it 38 easily. And, then we would look at the score 38 to 13, and we wouldn't have thought anything about it. But we are shooting us in the foot. We have not played our best game yet. I'm telling you, it's coming. We're going to put together. It is much better to play. Now that we're in this 12-team playoff, it's almost like baseball stuff. Just get in the playoff.
Yep.
Play your best ball in the playoff. You play great ball now. Look at all these teams we're seeing now that lost last week. They're playing their great ball the first five weeks. Ole Miss played their first great ball. You can't stop them. Kentucky stopped them.
Mm-hmm.
No, Tennessee can't stop them. 50 points a game. Arkansas stopped them. Alabama's offense, man, that thing is all. You're right. They beat by Vanderbilt. It is the conference and the trophy is up for grabs this year. No, there is no dominant team because so early in the season people have not been played. Not played anybody really substantial. We'll start seeing it though. We'll start seeing it now as we go into the season. All these big games. We got big game this week. Big games next week. You're going to start seeing these people fall off. You're going to start seeing who is made, who is made of what they're made of, and we'll figure it all out. But still struggling with penalties. We're still struggling with penalties.
Yep.
I don't get it. It started out pretty well the first part of the game, but we still continue to struggle with penalties. Still, Beck looked better. Not a lot of downfield stuff, but he was more accurate. I mean, he had like 3 or 4, misses, which is excellent. I mean, it's like 80%. This guy was on target more. We just continue to once again hurt ourselves with penalties, and that's kind of put us back a little bit. But I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited for what's coming up. Y'all say I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, do not be surprised when we go into Austin and we come out with Austin with a win.
Yep.
I don't want to looking ahead to Austin this week, but I'm telling you, we are setting ourselves up for playing these hard-nosed games and knowing how to come out on the backside if we're down. These other teams don't know how to do that. You saw it with Alabama last week. They did not know how to come out of what they were in. We were down 28-0 and came back. Had the lead for a few seconds, but we still came back. We fought ourselves out of it. We fought ourselves out of Kentucky. We know how to fight back. We are not quitting. These guys are not quitting.
Well, another thing, I don't know if you heard Kirby this week. He was talking about. He said, the SEC is a lot like this and this and this. He said, I just want to be like this, constantly going up, right? And so, what did you think about him calling out the fans about his being disappointed with the fans and them not providing enough crowd noise?
I don't have a problem with that at all. Some folks will say that. I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, and Saban did the same thing. Saban did the same thing about 5-6 years ago, saying, why are fans leaving at halftime? He says, you're here for the team, represent the entire team. Even the third, fourth stringer guys. I have no problem with that. Kirby knows, and turn out people complain. Kirby is thinking in the future of everything. He said at the beginning of the year, it is tough to beat some SEC teams on the road.
Yep.
And people are like, oh, that's insane. We should be able to beat Kentucky. We should be. Ask Alabama right now how tough it was to beat. It was to beat
Vanderbilt
on the road
with 90% Alabama fans.
Yes.
In the stands.
Ask them how hard it is to beat Arkansas on the road. I mean, I'm telling you, he's seeing the future. You guys don't think it. It's true. It's out there. So he's telling you now, fans, you better get up because we have a lot more games in the back end of the season at home, and we are going to need you. This team will need that extra boost because you come out, look at them. I mean, I watched the game, and my wife is not a huge football fan whatsoever. She'll watch it with me to patronize me. But even she was sitting there. We won, and she was like, this game felt lethargic. I was like, my wife picked up on that.
Yep.
I'm telling you, what's coming from that TV screen or what you're there in the game, it comes out on the field.
Yep.
You only see one player, right? Third and 5, and only one player is excited about getting up. Where are people? We're expecting to win too much. That's the problem.
Yep.
We're expecting to win.
Yep. Totally agree. Well, Kirby earned a lot of my respect this week because he said what he said about the fans, and then he could have come back in the press conference and said, "No, I really didn't say that," or they took it the wrong way, or he owned it. And I'll play you what he said.
That's not really what this is about. We're a team. We're a unit, and I think it's okay to say how you feel and try to pull the family together and pull in the right direction. And you guys want to make it about, well, Kirby said this. I mean, that we're a team. We're a team. Like, let's do this together. Let's help each other, not make it about he said and they said, and I'm not into that. We need to all be together. That's when I got hired here, it was all about pulling in the same direction, creating an atmosphere that's hard to play in. You win these games at home, and maybe you take it for granted if you win so many games at home. But I know this, it's hard. These teams are going on the road all across the SEC. You make it hard on them by what you do and what you create. So it's not about a specific point in time. It's about us all pulling in the same direction.
I love that, man. We all got to be pulling in the same direction. That is for sure. And that starts with the fans, the team, the coaches, the event staff. I mean, they've got to put on something that's going to keep fans in the stands, right? You got to have all of those things to keep fans there.
We have been, let's be honest, we have been the pinnacle of college football for the last 3 years. And all these teams know the records that we hold. They know our regular season record. They looking to knock us off. Well, that one's gone. Now they know our home team record. They're looking to be the one who ends that streak.
Yep.
You cannot allow that to happen. I mean, it's going to happen at some point in time, but if it's going to happen, let it happen to a legit team, not some Mississippi State Bulldog team that comes into town. You know, we have to get up for those kind of games.
Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. Mr. Khakis told us in the background. He said fans had a head fog due to losing to Alabama. Yep.
I can see that.
Totally agree. Well, hey, we got to jump. We got to move on, man. I just realized it's 8:25, and we are way behind on our show here. But so we gotta get this thing rolling forward. It is that time. It is Paul's calls. So let's get these things going here. We'll pull this video over and get her rolling.
We'll start with a two-play vignette this week, distinguishing between roughing and running into the kicker. Now, the first play of the vignette, we get a punt, and there's contact to the kicker, and a flag comes in. Now, as we go back and take a look at the replay, we see that the defender, he lays out to block the kick, and he's going to make forcible contact to the plant leg of the kicker. And this is roughing the kicker. Roughing carries a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Now, our officiating standards say it's always roughing the kicker when there's forcible contact to the kicker's plant leg. Now, play two of the vignette, it's a field goal attempt, and we see the kicker, he goes down, and there's a flag down as well on this play. And as we see the replay, the defender, he lays out an attempt to block the kick, and he simply slides through the kicking leg of the kicker. The officiating standards go on to say that it shall be running into the kicker if the defender simply runs through the kicking leg and there's no forcible contact. So this was running into the kicker. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, half the distance to the goal in this case. And the penalty yardage did give the offense a first down, but running into does not carry an automatic first down. Now, all other contact with the kicker shall be based on the severity and the potential for injury to the kicker to determine running into or roughing. Play two is a kickoff, and we see that the ball is caught by the receiver on the dead run near the 10-yard line. He makes an excellent return and is finally down near the 35. And we're going to see number 45 of the kicking team with no helmet. He kind of comes in and piles in on the tackle. And then we're going to see multiple flags come raining in. As we go back and take a look, we see that number 45 is being blocked and his helmet comes off. He gets up initially and tries to retrieve it, but then he comes in on the tackle. Now, by rule, a player whose helmet comes completely off during a down may not continue to participate beyond the immediate continuing action which they're engaged. This is a personal foul for continued participation without a helmet, and this rule is in place really to protect the players. And the rule also applies whether or not the player puts the helmet back on during the down. Play three, we see that the quarterback, he takes the snap, he's going to scramble away from pressure, and then ultimately he's going to throw the ball away out of bounds with no receiver in the area. Now, we know by rule it's not intentional grounding if the quarterback is outside the tackle box, throws the ball away beyond the neutral zone. But as we look at this with our tackle box here, the quarterback is clearly in the tackle box when he throws the ball away. But as we retrace the steps of the quarterback, he does scramble out of the tackle box and then retreats back in when he throws the ball. By rule, it is not a foul if the passer throws the ball away across the neutral zone without a receiver in the area if he is or has been outside the tackle box. So from a tackle box perspective, we know that once a passer is out, he's always out. So this is a legal play by the quarterback. Play four, we get a pass out into the flat. It's caught by number 11 of the offense. He turns upfield and is marked out of bounds just inside the 1-yard line by the line judge. But we've got a flag down from our field judge for offensive pass interference. And as we go back and take a look at the outside receiver, he's going to come back to the ball and he blocks two defenders, allowing number 11 to be wide open. But as we go back and take a look, the snap was from the 4.5-yard line, and the ball is caught right at the line of scrimmage. And by rule, there is no offensive pass interference or defensive pass interference on a play where the pass does not cross the neutral zone. So the crew properly picks up the flag here. There's no foul. But the second aspect of the play we've got to look at is, did the runner score? And we see from the end zone view that the left foot is inbounds, and then the right foot hits the pylon. And when the runner touches the pylon, we know that the ball is immediately dead and the runner gets goal line extended. And as we look down the goal line shot, we can verify that the left foot is in. And as we pause it when the right foot touches the pylon, the ball is just short of the goal line and goal line extended. So this is not a touchdown, and the ball should be marked just short of the goal line. So a good spot here. Play 5, we get a throw downfield back toward the middle, and number 5 of the defense makes a great play on the ball, and the pass is incomplete. And as we continue to watch number 5's actions, we're going to get a flag down from our back judge, and we get an excellent announcement from our referee.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense for simulating brandishing a weapon. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Now, we know anytime that you simulate firing a weapon, that is an automatic unsportsmanlike conduct foul. If you brandish a weapon, as we see here, and by definition, brandishing is presenting a weapon in such a manner to induce fear, intimidate, or taunt someone. And in our rule, brandishing a weapon is not an automatic unsportsmanlike conduct foul, but it falls under the unsportsmanlike conduct guidelines that state for all actions, if there's any threatening gesture, taunting, acts that provoke ill will or demeaning to the opponent or to the image of the game, it is a foul. This was a correct call. Our last play this week is a routine field goal attempt with a very unexpected bounce. Now, we see the ball, it splits the uprights, and it hits a big pole just behind the goal, and it bounces back through the uprights and lands in the end zone. The kick is ruled good, but what is the rule here? So we know that for a field goal to be successful, it must pass over the crossbar and between the uprights and be declared dead beyond the end line, or if it's blown back but does not return over the crossbar, it still scores a field goal. Now, the crossbar and uprights are treated as a line, not a plane. So if the ball was over the crossbar between the uprights and it was blown back and returned over the crossbar in the field of play, then the field goal would not be good. That would be unusual. But this kick, it hit the big light pole. It's declared dead there. So the field goal is good, even though the dead ball came back across the crossbar.
That was a pretty good videos. I do appreciate Paul Patrisco sending those to us each week. I learn something new every single week, so I love those.
I don't agree with the penalty on the garnishing a weapon thing. I don't agree with that one. I mean, just because you pulled your shirt up to show off your six-pack doesn't mean you're garnishing a weapon. I mean, if that's the way, I'd be garnishing my wife every night. You know what I'm saying?
All right. It's that time. Let's run these Krugs Crunches. There were not as many videos this week, guys, and I do apologize, but we're running long anyway, so it's probably going to work out just fine.
Vandy drops into coverage and wide open. Dupree again. He took a lick. Colby Taylor did not hold back.
He did not, and it's a great read from Jalen Milroe, knowing that safety rotation was going to allow Cuevas to fit right in under zone coverage. Nice throw and just poof.
Is those miscommunications on the back end.
Well, the Arizona offense has gone for negative yards tonight, and a huge hit out on the perimeter by Ben Roberts, the freshman All-American linebacker.
McNamara under center. They fake the stretch play, wants to throw out in the flat. He got it there, but what a lick. Caleb Downs put on Jacob Gill.
Well, the laugh this week was that Jim Knowles activated Caleb Downs. Well, if you ask me, watching tape, he's been activated.
First starter quarterback for Florida State. Gets it out quickly, complete on the receiver screen, and a big hit made on Ja'Kai Douglas.
It's actually Darius Washington that delivers that big
15. Royola drops back to pass over the middle. Oh, a huge hit with the pass falling incomplete.
From the initial look, it looked like it was going to be a clean hit. I mean, he comes in with the shoulder. That's the thing about Loyal, man. He'll bring some heat. Yeah, and it looks like it was shoulder to shoulder, really.
It's a man in motion, looks for the quick screen, and McDougall.
Together growing up, he was always the youngest and the smallest.
Milroe directing, and he gets drilled. Lost the football. Jalen Milroe gives it up. Miles Capers delivered the hit. They say Vanderbilt football.
You see Pritchett just get a little overextended, stops moving the feet so he doesn't get depth, and that allows Capers to get upfield and bend that corner on Jalen Milroe, who never saw him coming. You see the overextension there, actually goes down, and Capers has the wherewithal not just to get the sack, but to swat that football out on his way down.
Well, Taha, before he came to Vandy, who recovered the fumble, was making plays for the Cologne Crocodiles. That's Cologne, Germany.
Those are pretty good. Pretty good. I had to end it with the Alabama fumble there. I thought that was critical to the game. The thing about Vanderbilt, they took advantage of those mishaps, didn't they? And then they took the ball down and scored touchdowns, and I think that was the difference maker for the game. But hey, let's get into this game. I know I've been playing a lot of videos, but nobody wants to hear us talk anyway. But let's roll the game trailer and get into the Mississippi Bulldogs.
Next week, obviously, another SEC game coming here. Mississippi State, talk about the preparations. You guys get ready for another week inside the SEC next week at home.
Mississippi State's got a good, tough team. I know they played Texas really close. They're physical. They always are. I know what they bring to the table. So we'll have to get prepared and hopefully have a great turnout and have everybody come out and support us and have an unbelievable atmosphere next week.
Fire in that direction, caught at the 5, breakaway into the end zone, touchdown, Dominic Lovett. Dances in the pocket, and he'll go down back at the 36-yard line. Pump fake by Beck, wants to go deep, and he's got Arian Smith wide open. We intercepted a big lineman. Stackhouse, go! And is promptly sacked. Ty Ingram Dawkins looking into the end zone. He fires a bullet, is caught. Kick is away, blocked by the dog. Dan Jackson, Dirty Dan with the block.
Good deal, guys. Hey, so there's a lot of talk this week about the possibility of bringing back the black uniforms. As you guys know, or you may not know, but the Dogs wore the black uniforms against Mississippi State for the very first time back when Mark Richt was there. And so there's a lot of talk about that. I don't think you're going to see it. Kirby's more of a traditionalist, and he's going to stick with the red uniforms and the silver breeches. I don't think you're going to see that happen. But so Mississippi State Bulldogs, the other Bulldogs, the mascot name is Bully. So there you go. Don't know how they came up with that name. I was trying to look it up while the video was playing, but I never could figure it out. New head coach, Jeff Lebby. Jeff Lebby, where did he come from? So he was the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma last year. Is that correct, Matt?
I'm guessing. Sure.
Yep. That's where he was at, and I can't remember where he was at before then, but apparently he's one of the most prolific offensive minds since Mike Leach. So we're going to be interesting to see what he can do with Mississippi State football going forward. All right, Matt, it's your time, man. Jump in here, take this thing, and talk about the offense.
Not to correct you, but I think the first blackout jersey game was against Auburn, was it not? With we did have a black jersey game against Mississippi State when we had what's his face as quarterback, but I think the first blackout game was against Auburn.
Maybe you're right.
Now we did have with Kirby we played them at home one time when what's his face? What was the guy from USC we had? USC transfer. I'm forgetting his name. Daniels.
Yeah.
He came in and he threw like 300 yards on him that one night where it was a close game. So yeah, but to my point was we played Mississippi State. Feels like we played them a lot here recently. It had some exciting games. Back to what you were saying a little bit ago, we had Fromm. I mean, that was a big time game. They came into Athens. They just bet a big win over a top 10 team, and I thought they were world beaters. And we come in the first play, we do a
flea
toss
flicker.
back, the flea flicker, and touchdown. That was awesome. And then we've had some other games, like you said, the one with Daniels where we came back and won that in the fourth quarter as well. So we've had some exciting games with Mississippi State over the last few years. We're going to get in their offense, and I talked to Brian a little bit about this earlier this week. Not a super impressive statistically team when it comes to offense and defense. Right now, offensive wise, Brian said that they have this play caller, offensive mind that's supposed to be, helping them move for the future. But we know, like last year, they had a one-year coach and they fired him. So let's see what happens here with the cowbell. They're actually, for a quarterback here, for y'all to know, this is not their starting quarterback. This is their backup. Their starting quarterback had a shoulder injury a few weeks back. And so this guy stepped in. His name's Michael Van Burden Jr. So he threw for about 244 yards so far this year. No touchdowns, no interceptions. So once again, just coming in. He's played like a game and a half. So we really don't know a whole lot about him. Not a lot of rushing yards, if any whatsoever. To our knowledge, I mean, very limited scope on this guy. So kind of just giving you what I have here. So like I said, he's only played a game and a half. But we really get to their meat is the running backs. They got two running backs here with Daniels and Booth. Not a lot of carries on their end. Once again, the offense is not a super high offense whatsoever, but he has 233 yards rushing, one touchdown, average about 5 yards a carry. Booth is about 200 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, averaging a little less than 4 yards a carry. So we get into our wide receivers here. We're going to see they have 3 main guys. Coleman is their main guy. Kevin Coleman is going to be their main focus for them. 344 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 12 yards a carry for sure. He's their main target. I think he has almost double the amount of catches as anybody else does. He will be their main focus for them. But they do have Mosley and Carver here. Mosley has fewer yards, but he has more catches. Carver has more yards and more yards per catch, but he's not receiving the ball as many times. I think he has around 9 or 10 catches. So he's having a bigger play for them, a bigger play guy, the more electric plays for them than anything else. So it's something guy we should keep an eye on when they try to look for big explosive plays. This is what the guys are going to go to. As we look for the total offense, they're 58 in the country, which they're averaging about 243 yards per game. Not great. I mean, it's about an average, team. Rushing, they're the 91st rushing offense, about 136 yards a game. They don't have any breakaway players just yet. A lot of guys who run hard, but not like the breakaway speed plays. We saw in the trailer there, they play tough. They play Texas tough for the first 3 quarters for sure. But because they try to grinding out, limiting the time, and we know how we are struggling right now on offense. So if they're limiting our time and we allow them to do long, drawn out drives, and we just can't get them off the field, we may be in for one of those, like we said, the fly-by game where we only have 2 possessions per quarter. And if we're not scoring every possession, we could be up against a really tight game. Red zone offense, 103rd. Scoring offense, 82nd. They're only averaging about 27 points per game. But total offense, they're 79th in the country, averaging about 380 yards per game total offense.
Well, I do appreciate it, sir. I'm going to jump in and fill in for Kevin tonight and talk a little bit about Mississippi State's defense. I will tell you that it was extremely difficult to pull anything out of the stats on their defense. So, pulling a little bit about the stats here on this defense. No Power 5 team is worse on defense than Mississippi State. They are ranked 121st overall in defense. They have their 121st ranked third down conversion defense, 120th ranked rushing defense. They're giving up 5.4 yards per rush and 213 yards per game. They're 83rd ranked passing defense at 7.76 yards per pass and 225 yards per game. So, if our rushing attack does not have success, we've got some serious concerns with our offensive line and our offensive game plan. We should not have any trouble whatsoever. But let's talk a little bit about a couple of their players. So it seems to me that the best of their players are on the back end of their defense. The linebackers, got two linebackers, Braden Jennings and Stone Blanton, who make up for the majority of the tackles there in midfield. Both of these guys are going to be on. You'll see them play nearly every single snap. They don't come off the field. They'll be out there the entire time. And then the two safeties, Brylan Lanier and Isaac Smith, they account for the majority of the tackles on the defense, with 21 and 19 individually there for both of these guys. So they're having to come up and help out with stopping the run. That's where a lot of their tackles are coming from. But the last guy here is this Nick Barmira. He is their punter. It says place kicker, but he's the one that's been punting. And he's been punting about 46 yards per punt. He's 12th in the nation for average yards punted. So he can flip a field, and I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been able to stay in a lot of these games. They get some stops, and then he flips the field for that defense and keeps them in the game. So those are just a few guys I had to show. I know Mr. Kaki was going to come on and talk a little bit about Mississippi State and share some thoughts, so I'll bring him on the screen and let him take it away. You're muted, buddy. I can't hear him. Can you hear him? I think you're muted, John. Still can't hear you. Well, got no volume. Well, we'll try. I'll take you out and we'll try it again. How about that? All right. Well,
studio apartment.
Do what now?
I like his studio apartment.
I know, right?
The piano in the background.
Piano in the background.
Little mini grand.
Yep. I just could not hear him.
Okay. I think he has an earpiece in, so was it
not functioning? Still can't hear him. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I can remove this one. Let's see. Let's do that. Okay. There we go. Now I can hear you, John. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, the state of Mississippi and the University of Mississippi State has always been sort of a bottom feeder in our conference, no matter if we were 10 teams or now where we're at. And they used to augment their roster. There's two states in the United States that has a lot of junior colleges, and they used to get a bunch of players from junior colleges to help them make it and stem the tide and get maturity on their roster, especially on the defensive line. But with the advent of NIL, I don't think the junior colleges are helping them as much as they used to, and I think we're going to see those repercussions in their defense. People may not be aware of this, but the state of Alabama has 2 junior colleges that play football. The state of Mississippi has 20. So there's a lot of things that has happened with Mississippi State in reference to how they're going to get their roster going. And they're not really cash rich. They're cash poor, and they struggle, and they're going to continue to struggle until some big donor decides and they don't have a Boone Pickens or somebody like that, or a Jeff Belos. But Mississippi is usually big on defense, and that's I'm surprised they're not anymore. But that's a little bit of feedback on how they used to be able to play toe-to-toe on defense with us in the trenches, but they can't do it anymore.
Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight, John. I hope you're doing well, my friend, and get some rest after your long day in the jury in the trial room there.
All right.
We will talk at you again.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, buddy. Good old Mr. Khaki. Love having him on. So let's get into this thing, Matt. It is that time. It is the Dog Pound Pick'em Challenge. Right now, I am still leading the way. I don't know how, because I just shot from the hip last week, and I'm 18-12. Kevin is 15-15, and you're stepping ahead here. You're gaining ground on me, dude. Gaining ground.
Maybe too little, too late. We'll find out.
All right, well, let's see what we got this week. Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma and Texas. So I know this one is a neutral site game. It's at the fairgrounds. What fairgrounds is it at?
It's in Texas, though, isn't it? It's a Texas fairground, right?
I know it's called the Red River Rivalry. It used to be called something else. But right now, I know that Texas is 14.5-point favorite.
Yeah.
So because of that, because I saw how inept Oklahoma's offense is, I just don't think they can boat race Texas. I don't think they can score point for point. So I'm gonna go Texas with this one. And I'll go ahead.
Is Ewers? How do you say his name?
Ewers. He's gonna be back. Yep.
He'll be back. So I mean, that's the thing. We said the same thing about last year, right? And what happened last year? Oklahoma came in. I mean, Texas was a big favorite last year, and came in and Oklahoma beat them. This was their one loss last year. So I'm like you. I don't think the Oklahoma offense is super stout. If it wasn't for a pick six, they would have lost to Auburn a few weeks ago. So I'm with you. I'm going to go with Texas as well.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, Todd Wilson, good to hear from you, Todd. He says, good to hear your voice, Brian. I'm headed to Athens tomorrow for the weekend. Yep. Good deal. Grady Darcy says, horns up, 24-17. I like it. Richard Fields says, Texas 34, Oklahoma 27. So I was trying to find. Yep. I was trying to find Kevin's picks. He sent them to us. Oh, here we go. Kevin says he is taking Texas 32-28. Texas 32-28. I like it.
Still close games. I don't think it's going to be that close, but you don't know how rusty Ewers is going to be coming off, for being a few weeks out. You just don't know.
John Akaki says 35-17. I like it.
So I guess the question is too: will they be looking ahead to us?
Probably.
Could that be closer? Could that be a trap game for them? Where they're looking ahead to us.
It's possible. I don't think so, but it's possible.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. The other SC, Southern Cal against Penn State. Penn State's undefeated right now, right?
Yes. They haven't played anybody all year long.
Woo. I think I got this in here wrong. Somehow I messed up on my little tracker there. 6.4645. I don't think that's right. I don't know what the spread is there. I think that Penn State was slated to win that game at USC, if I'm not wrong. God, this is a tough one. That is a long way to go for Penn State, though, man. That is a long trip. Woo! I'm gonna go Penn State. I think Penn State can pull it off. I'm going Penn State. Penn State by 14. Let's go 21. Let's go 28-14. 28-14. Penn State.
What does Kevin say?
Kevin, I don't know. I didn't even look. Kevin says 38-21 Penn State. Wow.
Okay. I think Penn State should win this game. I really do. But I'm very much like you. I'm not sure how they're going to travel. They haven't been West Coast in God knows how many years, and they still don't have that offense that's going to be able to travel on the road. So I'm not sure. I'm still going to go with Penn State, but I think honestly we could see a USC, shocker here, where we watch them like, oh, look at USC get out to early lead and just maintain it the rest of the game. So easily could see USC taking this thing. Because I'm not a huge James Franklin fan. I don't think he develops players very well, and he plays a very lackluster game. His schedule he plays every year is like a bunch of nobodies and then two teams, and loses to the same two teams every year, which is Ohio State and Michigan. So we'll see what happens this year with somebody other than the Iowas and the whoever else they play and out there.
Sisters of the Poor.
Yeah, so let's see. It'll be a big road test for them. I'm gonna go with you guys. I'm gonna stick with Penn State. So it's do or die with us.
I like it. Grady Darcy says Penn State, 31-21. I like it. Hunter Ivy says USC pulls the upset, 27-24.
Now I'm thinking about regretting my decision.
Richard Fields says Penn State, 31-28. John Akaki says 33-30, Penn State. So the only person that didn't pick Penn State was Hunter. So I don't know. Kevin said Penn State 38-21. I did say that, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Oregon versus Ohio State. Ohio State travels to Oregon. That is a long way to go, man.
This is where I struggle with right here.
I struggled with this one too, my friend. I really struggled.
Just go ahead and say what you're going to say.
I don't think Oregon has enough offense. I really don't.
They're inconsistent, right?
Yep.
It's just inconsistency, and that's part of the Dylan Gabriel thing. He was that same way at Oklahoma, and same way here. He's been so far with Oregon. He'll be Heisman one week, and the next week he looks like a bum off the street, and so he's just so inconsistent. And we do know how coach. I'm sorry, I just lost the coach of Oregon, Dan Lanning. How his defense has favored up to Ohio State, right? We know that they sometimes have struggled with that in the past. Do they have the same offensive weapons? Not really. So I'm just not sure how they're going to travel, like you're saying. I haven't really picked this one just yet, so I will defer to Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin said Ohio State, and that's what I was going to do too. I was going to Ohio State. He says it's going to be a close one. Ohio State 28-24. John Akaki says Oregon Ducks are going to win 38-24. Let's see. Richard Fields says Oregon 31-27. Grady Darcy says, "Give me the Quacks." Don Lanning is Dan Lanning's dad, and he's a great man. Give me Oregon 34-31. OSU is just a bunch of nuts, worthless nuts. They're worthless nuts, not just nuts, worthless.
Yeah. So I'll remind everybody. Remember how it was about 5 years ago where we thought that Ohio State was going to be the team of all teams, right? And then what happened? They went on this neutral site game to Oregon, and Oregon beat the pants off of them and shocked everybody. I think they're going to get up for this game. I think Oregon's going to get up for this game, and I'm going to pick against you guys, even though I think that the run game for Ohio State will eventually maybe be the leading factor for them. And the inconsistencies of Oregon may show itself, but I'm really going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Oregon to try to take a lead on you guys.
I like it, buddy. I like it. Hunter Ivy, I put his comment up, didn't read it. Oregon has been inconsistent. OSU has played nobody. Give me Oregon at home, 31-28. Grady Darcy says Oregon's defense is the best OSU sees all year. You're probably right. Mm-hmm. All right, Ole Miss and LSU. Woo! This one's going to be tough, man.
Yeah, that's why I picked it.
This one is going to be tough. All right, so I had another comment come in as Madison, my daughter, said, I'd love to see an Oregon upset for this game. Oregon may be inconsistent, but they have the means to get the job done. Yep, I agree.
Get you Madison showing up to the party. Love it.
That's right. I do too.
Bring it on, girl.
All right, Ole Miss, LSU. Woo, this is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. It is at LSU, right?
I don't remember. I think it is.
I think it is. I think it is at LSU. It is. And Ole Miss is favored by 3.5 points.
Wow. Is it a night game?
I think it is. I think it is a night game.
So here's the thing. And this is to me, while you're cutting your thoughts and stuff. This is going to be whichever defense decides to show up.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. Because I think the LSU offense has always been, we always think it's going to be better than what it is and stuff. And it's fine. Ole Miss started out like world beaters, and the last few weeks they have not. They can't score 30 the last few weeks, and so I'm really curious to see which defense is going to show up. And I don't know, man. I think I'm going to go with Ole Miss. I don't know why. I'm going with Ole Miss. I really would like LSU to show up and beat them because I just can't stand Ole Miss. I can't stand Lane Kiffin, and so. But I also don't like Kelly. I think Kelly's a joke. He's a clown. But I think longevity. Because we're going to play the Ole Miss side. I want to see how they respond in a foreign area with a mediocre defense.
All right, so it's the 7:30 game in Baton Rouge. There's no way LSU's losing this game at night in Baton Rouge, dude. Sorry.
I picked Ole Miss.
Yeah, going LSU.
So you got LSU.
Going LSU.
What's Kevin have?
I hadn't even looked. Kevin says Ole Miss, 42-28. All right, Johnny Kaki says Bengal Tigers 41, Ole Miss 35. Grady Darcy says Ole Miss 39, LSU 28. Richard Fields says LSU at home overtime 38-35. Hunter Ivy says y'all pick some tough games this week. I think they're all tough, man. Now that the conference realignment, it makes them all tough. It makes them all tough. All right. Hunter Ivy says he's taking LSU at home 42-28.
Remember, this was a great game last year. Remember how this game was back and forth, and it literally, like it was like to the last possession. It was a high scoring game, like a basketball score, but it was one of those games that you just didn't know whoever had the ball last was going to win it. So
yeah, I expect nothing different. I expect nothing different. All right, can Vanderbilt continue their winning ways? What do you think? They're going to Kentucky.
I think Kentucky's defense is going to be able to maintain that Vanderbilt rushing attack, and I think Kentucky. I think we have a good opportunity to see Vandergriff actually have a good game. Yeah. I know he hasn't had anything great, and I know Vanderbilt coming off a great emotional win. I think they're going to be on that, like Alabama was. They're going to be on that high.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, man, we're world beaters, we're awesome, and then I think Kentucky's going to have. I mean, I think it'll still be a tough game, but I think Kentucky, if they can withstand any turnovers, Kentucky can win this game pretty substantially.
Yep, I'm going to Kentucky as well. Kevin's going Commodores. He's taking Vandy 7. No, he's taking Kentucky 24-17. So
he's riding the train.
No, he went the other way. He just had Vanderbilt first, and then it says 17-24. So he's taking Kentucky as well. I'm going Kentucky. Richard Fields is going Kentucky. Kentucky defense wins at 30-24. Grady Darcy says the Doors are going to be 21-35. So he's doing the same thing. A little reverse psychology there. I mean, Kevin and Grady must be cut from the same cloth, doing some reverse psychology to make me putting the losing score first. All right. Hunter Ivy says Kentucky at home is tough, but give me Vandy 28-21. I like it.
Oh, wow.
I like it. Yeah, Hunter says each of these games could go either way. Yep. You're exactly right. All right, it's that one. We don't have a slide for it, but it is the Georgia game. That is not the right ticker. Okay. Nope. Oh, well. All right. So we have Mississippi State coming into town. Mississippi State. For some reason my ticker didn't update. I swear I put it in there. I want to say it's like a 14.5. No. Oh my gosh, it's moved. Georgia is a 34-point favorite.
What?
There's no way, dude.
Taking the points.
No doubt. There's no way.
Sorry.
There's no way we're beating Mississippi State by 34 points. What do you think?
If we do, that means we wasted all our good injury and points on the wrong team.
No doubt.
I'd rather it be a ugly game so that we save the explosive stuff for the next game against Texas. I truly do. I hope this game, I hope we're not looking ahead. I hope it's a sloppy game that we win by like 15, 20 points and we get out of there. We celebrate. We're happy. We're fine. But then, Texas has a great game and they're on high cloud nine, and we come in and just put it to them, man.
Yep. I just don't see us covering, man. Do you?
I don't think 30. You said 34?
34.
No, I could see maybe 23-ish, 24.
Yeah.
I think that's possible, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on turnovers and stuff that could happen. It's crazy. You just never know. How defeated are they going to be coming to Athens? How pissed are we going to be coming out? You just never know. So
Akaki says 45-9.
Okay. I'll take it. I will take it.
Oh my gosh.
Sign me up.
I don't know. Richard Field says 38-14. Grady Darcy says the impersonating Bulldogs 3. The real Dogs 33. It's so hard to score those that many points now because the game goes faster, right? And especially we do what we think we're going to do. We think we're going to run the ball a lot, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to click time off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And it limits the amount of possessions that you're going to have. And so because of that, I just don't see us being able to score that many points. I mean, I could be wrong, and we come out and we go explosive right off the bat, and maybe we do. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to get those explosive plays fixed. But until Georgia can prove to me that they're going to do it, I lost you. Oh, you're back.
No, I'm here.
Okay. Until Georgia can prove to me, I'm not going to go with that many points. I'll say I like 35. I think it's a good number for us. 35-10. I think that somehow Mississippi State figures out how to get a touchdown. 35-10.
I'm around you. I'm 38-6. I'm not sure. I'm right around where you're at. I don't think they'll score a touchdown on us. They could. I mean, they could have a breakaway like we did last week at Auburn. We a bunch of missed tackles. Try to tackle a guy on his shoulders instead of his legs, and he runs for a 30-40 yard run. It's very possible.
Yeah, somebody was asking me about that this week. It was my wife. She's asking me, she says, why are we tackling above the waist? I said, because they're teaching these guys not to lower their head, because the lowering their head leads to what?
Penalties.
Targeting. Penalties, yes.
But
and so,
if you hit the legs, there's no one's going that low.
I agree.
I mean, if you go at someone's legs, they're not dropping all the way to their kneecaps. That's the thing. People have done well this year. People have tackled us at our legs and gotten us away from explosive plays or missed tackles, and we continue to tackle up top and missing sacks and not instead of having a guy for a 3-yard gain, he goes for a 35-yard touchdown.
Yep. Grady Darcy said we shut down Mississippi State on offense off almost every drive. I hope that's the case. All right. Well, any final thoughts? I know John Akaki says that the Dogs are due. He says, "Come on, the Dogs are due for a big win." Nate Frazier, Travis Etienne run for 200 yards combo. Beck throws for 305 total yards, 554 blowout win, and all scared stay home. I like it. Well, any final thoughts?
I could easily see Beck, 250, 2 touchdowns. I hope we have the running game. I think they're going to continue, and I think some of it's trying to humble Frazier. you see he is like the fourth running back. They're giving Cash more time. Well earned. Don't get me wrong. He's earned his time. He's been there. He's earned his time, and Kirby's doing him a good justice. And he needs to learn how to block. Until Frazier wants to learn how to block, we're going to continue to see more Robinson in there. And I want the guy to do well, but he has a issue right now running the ball up the middle. He gets outside, Robinson can make some runs. He can get that speed and start going downhill once he gets outside, but he cannot run up the middle right now. He is struggling with that piece, and I want him to figure it out, and this could be a good game for him to do it.
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, I definitely want to see the running game. I mean, everybody's like, what is wrong with Travis Etienne? He is not as good as advertised. And I'm like, it ain't him, buddy. It's our offensive line. We do not have a run fit for our offensive line, and they're not doing the job they need to do. And let's just be honest, the tight end performance has not been stellar either.
Yeah.
Their blocking performance has been lackluster this year. We're definitely tell you're missing Brock Bowers, who my daughter just mentioned that he's killing it right now with the Raiders. And we're missing him and Darnell Washington for sure.
But he's doing well, though. I mean, he's like 10 rushes for 80 yards last week. Come on, guys. I mean, he's still doing well. He's just, I mean, we had these games where, he didn't play one game. And then the next game, he played a few snaps because we're beating the crap out of him. And then the next game, it's like he hasn't had a chance where he's been able to play the entire game. And there's a reason also Kirby has Frazier in the third, fourth quarter because he's fresh. Yep. He's fast, he's quick. And the defense gets worn down. They have to account for that speed that they're a little bit second-winded. So it's all strategic. Absolutely. Don't worry about it, guys.
I love it. All right, well, let's do this thing, man. Let's send this thing out right. All right, guys. We're bringing in the other Bulldogs from the SEC, coming in to Sanford Stadium, Dooley Field, between the hedges. The Dogs are going to be ready this week. We're ready right here on the Middle Georgia Dog Pound, and we'll be back next week to recap a big win against the other Bulldogs. I'm Brandon and Mr. Kevin. We miss you, buddy.
Go Dogs.